Once upon a time, there was a place called Israel. It was a beautiful land full of people who believed in God. They lived happy and peaceful lives. But one day, a mean group of warriors called the Midianites attacked. They stormed into Israel riding on camels. They stole all the food and left nothing for the people. They even took away their cows, sheep, and goats. Then they went back to their homes, leaving the people hungry. The Israelites hid in caves and cried out to God for help. They prayed, "Oh, God, please help us. We don't have any food and those mean Midianites keep stealing everything." God heard their sad cries and felt bad for the people of Israel. He wanted to help them. One day, a man named Gideon was quietly working in a field. He had some wheat to separate the seeds from the stalks. Usually he did this outside, but because of the Midianites, he was hiding in the winepress. He was trying not to make any noise. Suddenly, the sound of voices broke the silence. He stopped what he was doing and listened closely. To his great surprise, he heard an angel of the Lord say, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon couldn't believe his ears. "What?" he asked. "Are you talking to me? Me, mighty warrior? No way! My family is the weakest in our tribe, and I am the least in my family. I'm just a nobody." The angel shook his head. "No, Gideon. You are a mighty warrior chosen by God. I am sent by God to tell you that He wants you to save Israel from the Midianites. God will be with you." Gideon stared at the angel, unsure of what to say. It was hard for him to understand why God would choose him. He felt like he wasn't good enough or strong enough. He didn't want to disappoint God, but he also didn't want to fail. After a while, he finally found his voice. "If you really are God's messenger, can you please show me a sign? Please help me to believe you. I want to do what God wants me to do, but I need proof that this is really from God." The angel understood that Gideon needed more than just his word. He wanted something concrete, something that would give him faith and assurance. So the angel promised to return the next night and perform a miraculous act that would leave no doubt in Gideon's mind. As the angel departed, Gideon couldn't help but feel excited, yet overwhelmed by the task ahead. He pondered over the possibility of leading his people to victory and wondered if he possessed what it took to become a hero. Despite his uncertainties, he knew he had to believe and trust in the divine messenger's words. He prepared himself for the upcoming challenge and waited anxiously for the angel to return. When the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, Gideon was still thinking about what the angel had said. He had prayed for God to send someone to help Israel, but he never imagined that God would choose him. Gideon decided to ask the angel for 2 more signs. "God, please show me another sign. Make your message even clearer so I'm absolutely sure." The angel returned that night and performed a miracle just as he had promised. It was a wool fleece laid on the ground, and when Gideon placed his fleece on it, it absorbed moisture from the dew, but the ground beneath remained dry. Overjoyed, Gideon fell to his knees before God and exclaimed, "Surely God is in our camp." But then a tiny voice inside him whispered, "What if it was just the dew from heaven? Maybe it's not a sign from God. I need more proof." So Gideon went to the angel and asked for another sign. This time, he wanted something more extraordinary, something that would leave no room for doubt. The angel listened patiently to Gideon's request and then disappeared until the next night. When he came back, the wool fleece was dry, but the ground beneath it was covered with heavy dew. Gideon was amazed by this new display of power. It was clear to him now that God had chosen him. There was no doubt in his mind that he must do what God asked. He realized that he could not let fear or uncertainty hold him back. He had to believe in God's plan for him. So Gideon gathered 32,000 men from Israel. Together they marched toward the Midianites. They were ready to fight and free their land from the enemy's control. But as the battle day approached, God spoke to Gideon. "You have too many men. If you defeat the Midianites with this many soldiers, Israel will think they won by their own strength and not by my power." Gideon listened carefully to God's words and knew he had to follow his advice. He didn't want the victory to be for Israel's army, but for God alone. So Gideon announced to the men, "Anyone who is afraid may go home." 22,000 men left, leaving only 10,000. But God said again, "There are still too many." So God told Gideon to take the men down to the water. "Watch how they drink," God said. Some men knelt down and put their mouths to the water, but others cupped water in their hands and lapped it like dogs, staying alert. God told Gideon, "Choose the ones who lap the water with their hands. With these men I will deliver Israel." Gideon counted only 300 men. Just 300 brave warriors ready to face the mighty Midianite army. Gideon led his small band of warriors to the foot of a nearby mountain, selecting a spot where they could rest and prepare for the coming battle. The location was perfect for an ambush, which was exactly what Gideon had in mind. Meanwhile, deep in the Midianite camp, two soldiers were having a conversation. "Did you have any dreams last night?" one of them asked. "Yes," the other replied. "I dreamed that a loaf of barley bread tumbled into our camp and knocked over a tent. It seemed like a sign of great importance." "I had a similar dream," the first soldier admitted. "A barley loaf came into the camp and destroyed the tent. Perhaps it's a warning from the God of Israel." The second soldier nodded in agreement. "Indeed, it could be a sign from the God of Israel, as you say. These dreams may hold a deeper meaning." Little did they know that they were being watched by Gideon, who had crept close to the camp to listen to their conversation. Once they were gone, Gideon returned to his men, his heart pounding with excitement. He shared what he had learned with them, explaining the significance of the barley bread and its connection to their upcoming battle. The men listened intently, their faces illuminated by the flickering firelight as they grasped the gravity of their mission. Now knowing the Midianites' weakness, Gideon devised a plan. He divided the 300 soldiers into 3 groups, giving each man a trumpet and an empty jar with a torch hidden inside. He told them, "Watch me. Do as I do. When we blow the trumpets and smash the jars, shout, 'A sword for the Lord and for Gideon.'" In the dead of night, the 3 groups surrounded the Midianite camp. At Gideon's signal, they blew their trumpets, smashed their jars, and waved their torches high. The night exploded with light, sound, and shouting. The Midianites woke in panic. They couldn't see because of the bright lights, and they couldn't hear because of the loud noises. Confused and terrified, they turned their swords against each other. They ran and fled far away. God had helped them win. That night, only 300 men fought against the Midianites, and God gave them the victory. He used Gideon as a hero to save the Israelites, so all the people of Israel could say, "Thanks to God and his hero, Gideon." The story of Gideon is a great example of how God can use anyone to do great things. Sometimes God calls people who are scared, like Gideon, but he gives them courage to do what he wants them to do. Gideon didn't have lots of soldiers or weapons, but God gave him wisdom and strength to win the battle. This story reminds us that God doesn't need big, strong people to do his work. He can help anyone who trusts him. So remember, no matter how small or weak you feel, God can use you to do amazing things if you trust him. Now it's time for a fun activity. Can you draw a picture of Gideon and the 300 soldiers fighting the Midianites? What do you think was the most exciting part of the story? Did you learn a valuable lesson? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this adventure with Gideon, I have more exciting stories waiting for you. Click on the screen to continue your journey. Don't forget to stay tuned for more amazing videos. Until next time, may God bless you and keep you safe. Goodbye.